last subject I'd like to cover would be these playoffs. And this year has been so difficult and different. Obviously, with the 10-game cutback at 72, but I'm actually liking this. All right. This play-in, I think, is absolutely great for the league, man, because you know what? It makes you watch all these games to the end. Like the Lakers play today. And they played last night and they got to play. The Lakers got to win. And if they don't win, that it's going to shuffle, and it just makes basketball interesting. And it makes all these last games where people are usually throwing the games or not playing hard, and you hold out your whole starting team. It's teams are still playing, and it makes it competitive.
Can you believe the Lakers are going to be in this play-in tournament? Probably.
Absolutely amazing. How do you go from two to 7, possibly 8, slide down that far, 2 to 8 playing in this year in what, less than 2 months because of one player? Oh, actually 2, but they were doing pretty good without AD. And AD is starting to see what the worth that LeBron has, because those games were tough on him. And I guarantee you had a flashback of when he was with the Pelicans, having to play hard and still coming up short, putting them numbers. But you know what? I was a little fearful that LeBron wasn't going to play the rest of this year. I'm glad to see him come back against the Pacers, which was a tough game for the Lakers that they won. This last game is going to be important. But the Lakers are not assured to win the championship unless they get out this first round.
You think they still win it?
I think if they get out this first round, which is going to be scary, and if they lose, they play Memphis, and if they win, they got the Warriors or something like that, or however it's going. It's all up in the air because there's so many games are going on. If they can get out of that play-in game and get that 5 or 7 game series, I think they can get their rhythm, find their rhythm, and then they can get back into this. But right now, I'm very fearful for them because you have to have a chemistry, which they had in the bubble last year, that projected them and propelled them to go forward. You have to have that, and I just don't see that now. I think 2 of the biggest things they did was let Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee get up out of LA, because those guys gave your defense that anchor, and they don't have that. Andre Drummond, I think, can do it a little bit, but they don't have. That's where now AD becomes more important, and he's not up under the basket as much as he liked to block shots, where those other 2 guys were.
Yeah. No, and you said that right after they won the title. We were talking, you were saying they can't let these guys walk. You know, that these are important parts to what they were able to do, and they were able to be multiple, where you could play small ball, but then also kind of, play big, and nobody could match that size. And you're right. I mean, it is certainly plagued them this year. Now they still have this last game, and they could still get to the 6th seed with Denver and Portland playing as well. So we'll see if they could avoid that play-in tournament. And I bet you the league 100% hopes that they could avoid playing in the play-in tournament. But I just don't see any way that they, even if they played in that tournament, that they'll get through a 7-game series. But I mean, I'd be shocked if they didn't. And still, I think they end up in the Western Conference Finals. But it's just rare to see a team seeded that low get there. I think the Rockets, as a 6th seed, the lowest seed to ever win an NBA championship. So if they were able to, try to do it from a 7th seed, that's gonna be a tough road for them.
That's why this year's NBA is going to be absolutely exciting. And I think whether your team is in there or not, and my team is the Los Angeles Lakers, this is going to be a very, very good playoff this year, because I think Brooklyn is making people think about winning a championship. I think with Harden coming back, sitting out as long as he did, they still have the ability to get it together. But this is going to be fun this year. I'm really, really excited to see how this is going to play out. But come on, Lakers. And I'm hating at the Celtics. I wish the Celtics go ahead and take that dive, and that way I don't have to see any green for the rest of the playoffs.